What's up, everybody? It's Shaharam here. And let me tell you, today we're diving into a business battle for the ages. We're talking about the epic showdown in the energy drink arena, where a challenger emerged from the shadows to take on the reigning champ. That's right, we're breaking down how Sting, a brand you might not even know, managed to outmaneuver the king of energy drinks, Red Bull. We're about to uncover the secret sauce, the crazy strategies, the sheer hustle that propelled Sting to the top. This isn't just some boring business analysis. This is a story of underdog triumph, of clever tactics, and a whole lot of energy drinks. So buckle up, grab your favorite energy drink, could be a Sting, who knows, and get ready to have your mind blown as we dissect how Sting took on the world and won. Let's do this. Alright, before we jump into Sting's grand strategy, we gotta set the scene. Picture this. A world where Red Bull reigns supreme, dominating the energy drink market with an iron fist. Imagine this. Red Bull is on top of the world, right? Their brand is synonymous with high energy, extreme sports, and living life on the edge. They practically invented the energy drink market, sponsoring extreme athletes, throwing massive parties. Everybody knows the Red Bull logo. They were unstoppable. Their marketing was everywhere, from the highest peaks to the deepest oceans. But here comes Sting, this new kid on the block. And they see an opportunity. They see a gap in the market that Red Bull, in all its glory, has overlooked. They realize that Red Bull, with its premium price and super intense marketing, might have missed a huge chunk of the market, the everyday consumer. The people who need energy, but can't justify spending a fortune on it. See, Sting understood that not everyone can afford to chug Red Bull like it's water. They saw the students, the young professionals, the everyday hustlers who needed that extra boost but were on a tight budget. So they came up with a plan, a master plan, to target a different kind of customer. The budget-conscious, the student grinding through all-nighters, the everyday hustler who needs a boost. They knew that these people were looking for value, not just a brand name. They knew they couldn't beat Red Bull at its own game, so they changed the game entirely. Instead of competing on the same level, they decided to carve out their own niche. They weren't going to out-extreme Red Bull, they were going to outsmart them. They focused on affordability, accessibility, and a different kind of marketing that spoke directly to their target audience. And that's where things get really interesting. Sting's strategy wasn't just about selling an energy drink, it was about understanding their customers' needs and delivering a product that fit perfectly into their lives. This is how they began to outsmart the giants. One of Sting's biggest wins? It wasn't just about the taste or the branding, although those were important too. They understood the power of the price tag. They knew that in a competitive market, the right price could make all the difference. See, Red Bull was all about that premium image, charging a premium price for their cans. They banked on their brand's prestige and exclusivity. But Sting? They went the opposite direction. They saw an opportunity where others saw a risk. They knew that in many parts of the world, price was everything. For many consumers, the cost was a deciding factor, so they made a bold move. They slashed their prices, not just by a little, but by a significant margin. We're talking significantly cheaper than Red Bull. This wasn't just a small discount, it was a game changer. Now, you might think, cheaper means lower quality, right? That's a common assumption. But Sting was smart about it. They didn't just cut prices, they optimized their production and supply chain. They didn't compromise on taste or the energy boost, they just found ways to make it more affordable. They streamlined their operations, cut unnecessary costs, and passed those savings on to the consumer. Think about it. You're walking down the street, you're thirsty, you need a pick-me-up. You want something that will give you that energy boost without breaking the bank. You see Red Bull, expensive as always, it's a great product, but do you really want to spend that much? Then you see Sting, bright colors, catchy name, and bam, half the price. It's an easy decision. It was a no-brainer for a lot of people. They got the energy boost they needed without feeling like they were overspending. This aggressive pricing strategy was genius. It wasn't just about undercutting the competition. It was about making energy drinks accessible to everyone. It allowed Sting to reach a whole new customer base. People who wanted that energy drink boost, but weren't about to empty their wallets for it. They tapped into a market that was largely ignored by premium brands. Sting became the drink of the people. And that, my friends, is a powerful position to be in. They didn't just sell a product, they created a movement, a shift in how people viewed energy drinks. Here's where Sting's strategy gets even more interesting. They didn't just aim to compete, they aimed to dominate. And they knew that to do so they had to be smart about their approach. They knew they couldn't take on Red Bull everywhere all at once. So, they got strategic. They meticulously analyzed market data, identifying regions where Red Bull's presence was minimal or non-existent. They focused on markets where Red Bull hadn't yet established a strong presence. This wasn't just about finding gaps. It was about finding opportunities to create a stronghold. Think of it like a stealth mission, slipping into new territories and winning over customers before Red Bull even knew what hit them. They were like market ninjas, moving swiftly and efficiently. They started in Southeast Asia, places like Thailand, Vietnam, and other rapidly growing economies. These were countries with a burgeoning middle class and a youthful demographic eager for new experiences. Countries with booming economies and a young population hungry for a new energy drink. The vibrant urban settings and bustling markets provided the perfect backdrop for Sting's energetic branding. And guess what? It worked! The response was phenomenal. People loved the taste, the energy boost, and the brand's youthful, dynamic image. Sting became a massive hit, capturing the hearts and wallets of millions. Retail stores couldn't keep up with the demand and the product flew off the shelves. They didn't stop there though. They expanded into Africa, Latin America, Eastern Europe, and other regions. Each new market presented its own set of challenges and opportunities. Basically, anywhere they saw an opportunity, they were relentless in their pursuit, always on the lookout for the next big market to conquer. And with each new market, they adapted their strategy. They understood that a one-size-fits-all approach wouldn't work. They tailored their marketing campaigns to resonate with local cultures and preferences, tweaking their marketing and even their flavors to match local tastes. This level of customization made Sting feel like a local brand, even though it was part of a global strategy. This global hustle, this relentless expansion, was a testament to their commitment and vision. They weren't just selling an energy drink, they were building a global brand. It's what allowed Sting to build a massive international fan base before Red Bull could even blink. Their fans weren't just customers, they were brand ambassadors, spreading the word and fueling the growth. They were out there proving that you don't need a billion-dollar marketing budget to conquer the world. What you need is a smart strategy, a deep understanding of your market, and the guts to execute it flawlessly. You just need a smart strategy and the guts to execute it. Sting's journey from local markets to world domination is a masterclass in strategic planning and execution. Now let's talk marketing. Red Bull, they were all about those extreme sports, those death-defying stunts, right? And don't get me wrong, that's cool and all, but Sting realized that most people aren't jumping out of airplanes or racing Formula One cars. So they took a different approach. They decided to connect with the everyday person, the student pulling an all-nighter, the entrepreneur working late, the gamer grinding for those victory royales. They understood that everyone has their own hustle, their own challenges, and they positioned Sting as the drink to fuel those ambitions. Their marketing campaigns were all about real people, real stories, real energy. They sponsored local events, partnered with up-and-coming musicians and artists, basically anyone who embodied that hustle and drive. And you know what? It resonated. People connected with Sting's message of empowerment, of pushing yourself further, of achieving your goals. They weren't selling a fantasy, they were selling a feeling of possibility. And that's something everyone can get behind. So there you have it, the incredible story of how Sting took on the energy drink giant and came out swinging. But this isn't just about energy drinks, it's about so much more. Sting's story is a masterclass in business strategy, in understanding your market, in outsmarting the competition, and in building a brand that truly connects with people. They taught us that you don't need a massive budget or a fancy marketing agency to succeed. What you need is a solid plan, the willingness to adapt, and the relentless drive to make your vision a reality. Sting's journey is an inspiration to anyone out there with a dream, proving that even in a crowded market, there's always room for innovation, for creativity, and for a little bit of hustle. So the next time you're facing a challenge, remember Sting. Remember that underdog who dared to dream big and then went out and made it happen. And that's a wrap. We just broke down how Sting managed to shake up the energy drink game and build a global empire. It's a story of smart decisions, bold moves, and a whole lot of hustle. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of business and energy drinks, Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. And hey, let me know in the comments what other business battles you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, stay curious, stay thirsty, and keep hustling. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful business strategies. See you next time.